What's going on, guys? Instant Death Mouse here. I had my cousin, after I had done the review of my pistol, my cousin and I were talking, and he said I should do a tear down and clean, basically a field strip of my pistol, just to show you guys exactly how to do it. And one thing I do like about this design, everything you need to just about completely disassemble the pistol is made on the gun. Aside from, taking the pins out. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out. This does stay on my nightstand, so it does stay loaded. We are working with an empty pistol. Nothing in the chamber. Alright. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to slide back and lock it. And you'll see a little tab right here. A little black tab. What you're going to do is you're going to reach down there, take your finger and push it down. That will allow the safety mechanism to fully engage, and the hammer will not stay back. So you take it and you'll drop it forward, hammer stays down. Now I don't suggest doing that with a round in the chamber because it does not pull that firing pin in and the gun may go off. So what you'll do is you'll pull it back till that first notch lines up with the back of the slide release. Show you there, pull it back, and then what you'll do when it's there, you'll push the pin to release the slide release, and then you'll just simply pull that out. And now this will come in handy because this in itself is a tool. So after you pull that slide release out, the slide just pulls forward. Alright, when you're working with just the slide, flip it over. For the recoil spring, just take your thumb, put it on the back of it, push forward, lift up, and it'll slide right out. With the barrel, you just push it forward slightly, pull up, and it'll slide right out as well. Now this pistol is exceptionally dirty this time because I was testing reloads. And if you look in there, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there is a ton of unburnt powder. See those little flakes on the side of the slide? Right here. All along in here. There's unburnt powder. Alright. So, put that there. And I will even show you how to tear down the slide and the magazine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take rounds out of here. Alright, set those aside, empty mag. Alright, so let me get a cleaning patch here. Go ahead and wipe this down. Now, this is the slide release that goes through the pistol. Right there. And when it's completely in, that pin sticks out. And that's what you push on to release it. That pin also goes through your recoil spring. Right through there. That's what keeps that in place. Well, that pin is also used to disassemble the magazine. You take it, put it in the little hole in the bottom of the Ruger magazine, push down. You can take the base plate of the magazine, push it back. You just pull the pin out, pull the base plate off, and what you'll have to do is you'll have to get in there and cock that plate sideways just enough to allow one side to come past, and then you just work it back and forth, and the follower should come out with it. You do not need the slide release to put the base plate back on. Just simply push down, push forward. That's how you disassemble the magazine with the slide release. Now, you're also going to use the slide release to disassemble the slide itself. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to pull that extractor out, and that's going to allow you to bring the safety all the way around, pull these safeties out, and remove the firing pin. And you'll do that is it's got little lips on the slide release, and what you're going to do is you're going to use that insidemost lip to grab on the front of that extractor. And take it just like this, put it in, push in with your finger, and pull up. And it may take a few tries, but once you get it, it'll pop right out. There it goes. And you just slide it all the way out. There's the extractor. Like I said, this thing is extremely dirty. Alright, with the extractor out, it allows you to take the safety, bring it around, pull out on this side. And you'll see where the extractor actually sits in that safety, right here. That's what keeps that in there. And be careful with this side, because what you're going to do is you're going to put your finger over the back of it to keep that firing pin from flying out from the spring tension. And you're just going to bring the safety around, pull it straight out. There's the other side, and there's your firing pin. Slide is completely disassembled. You can take the spring off, just do not lose the spring. And clean your firing pin. And we'll wipe it down. And unless you are working with some extremely dirty ammo, you shouldn't have to remove your firing pin maybe every 500 to 1,000 rounds. And some people say different. Where I am working with reloads and testing these reloads and not getting a high enough burn rate or enough pressure to ignite all the powder, I'm getting a lot of unburnt powder. So I have to go in and scrub my firing pin just about every time I use it. Now, if your firearm is well oiled, any grime should just come right off. I don't know if you can see, but even with all this on there, it is still fairly wet. With the gun oil that I use, I actually have no problem leaving a pistol or any firearm in my safe or in my closet or in my nightstand for 6 months at a time. And pull it out, check it, and it will be still wet. No rust, no dry spots. Everything on it will be wet. But that's just with the oil that I use. I know some people have an oil that they prefer. I have an oil that I prefer. Some people use rim oil or bore oil cleaner, bore cleaner. What I use is called M Pro 7. I picked up a bottle of it, actually this bottle, at a military surplus store. I think I paid $8 for it, and that was 6 years ago, and I'm still using the same bottle. It doesn't take a whole lot, and it lasts a long time. And it's not that I don't clean my guns that often, because I clean them every time, after every time that I shoot them. It's just, it doesn't take a lot to get them properly lubed with this stuff. This thing is dirty. When we're working on your actual frame, you can take this plate and slide it back to clean the front of the plate. But just remember to put it back down before you put the pistol back together, or the slide will not go on. And I'm going to take my 22 soft brush, and I'm going to run it in the back of the slide where the firing pin goes in. And it fits perfect. It's just enough to clean out any gunk that's in there. And take your 35 soft brush, and you can go in through the side here where the safety is. And then you take your 38 brush, go through your barrel. And what I'll do is I'll take my 35 brush again, and I'll run it through that barrel one more time. Just for a nice clean finish. I have a spare 22 wire brush that I use. And you can see that the bristles on it are pretty much shot. What I use that for is I take it, if there's any excessive buildup around the firing chamber, I'll just take it and scrub it around that feed ramp. And down here where the lug is. That's a dirty rag. That was white when we started. But everything is nice and clean. We'll go ahead and start putting it back together. What I'll do is I'll take my gun oil here, and I'll take it and I'll put one drop down in there where the firing pin goes, and one around in that lug where the safety rolls. I'll put the spring back on my firing pin, so I will actually have a usable firing pin. I was wrong. That lug goes to this side. Alright, so with that, just safety wing on, and then that, a little button right there. You gotta push that in just slightly so it'll snap in. Alright, and with your extractor, just take it and start sliding it in back where it came from. Again, with the slide release acting as a tool. Use it the same way you did before, only this time instead of going inside, you'll come along the outside here. And you'll just push in. You'll hear a very audible click when it snaps into place. And you'll take your barrel, and what I'll do is I'll run a thin line across the top of my barrel and on each side of the chamber. I'll take it and push it in, slide it back, and it'll lock into place. Well, it doesn't lock, but it sits in place. Then what you'll do is you'll take the oil, and I'll put a line here in the center, one here on this button, and one here on this lug, and run a thin line down the barrel. One line here, dot on the button, dot on the lug, a thin line down the barrel. And take one, run a thin line down in the slide guides. And you can also take your recoil spring, and what I'll do is I'll skip a couple coils on the way down. And what happens is when you put this all back together, if you work the slide back and forth, it'll actually work that oil into all of the spring. And just you push it down and set it on that lug. You can see where that lug is here and how that'll match up. Push it in and it sets down on it. You take the pistol and where those lugs are, I'll put a drop here at the trigger, one here back at the hammer, and one at the bottom base of the hammer. Pistol, line it up with those guides, pull it straight back. Alright. Now remember how we took it apart when we lined up that little dot with the back of the slide release. You're going to do the same thing. Just pull it back till it lines up. Push the pin. You'll hear it snap. Another way you can remember where to pull the slide back to, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on this one, but on this one also, once you get it back together, that little tab, you can either manually pull it up with your finger or you can use an empty magazine. If you're able to see that little mark there, and I don't know if my camera will pick it up, but there's a small indentation there. And when you pull the pistol, and you gotta line those two up. It's hard to see, but that will also allow you to snap that slide release out. when you bring that tab back up, it will cock the hammer back. You can do it with the safety, or you can just simply pull the trigger. We know this is unloaded, but that's how I clean my pistol. I'm not saying that you need to do that every time you clean yours. This is just how I do mine. And that is how I clean my Ruger P95. If you have any questions or comments, concerns maybe, put them down in the comment section. I will answer every comment, including the ones that I write to myself, because I just do that. I'm that nice of a guy. I even answer my own comments. Thanks for watching. If you like what I do, if you enjoy watching me mess with guns and get my hands all greasy and shoot stuff on your behalf, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already.